Quiet on set. Picture is up. All right, roll sound.
Rolling.
Roll cameras.
Cams rolling.
And 3, 2.
Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to Hank's Think Tank. Going to be a great weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend, Mark.
Memorial Day weekend, sir. Yes, sir.
Mark Hogan is here. He drove all the way from Katy. What kind of car is that again?
That is a 2013 Dodge Challenger Redline package, 5.7 Hemi. Thank you.
That's a nice car. Yep.
Thanks, man.
It's got that whole purr to it.
Yeah.
It's black. Is
Yeah.
it black? Yeah.
Yeah, it's black.
It's black. Sounds badass. It's got red interior.
It's got the Studio13Media.com
That's
logo
what, that's
on the
what
back
I,
of it.
that's what I was about to say. That's the best part of the car on the back,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah,
Right.
Studio 13.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
he charges me for it.
Oh,
That's it.
that's
$40 a week.
All right, guys. Today we got Chris Zepeda in. Chris has a really good podcast. It's local. It's called the Small Circle Society. Look it up on YouTube. He's got a bunch of videos out there. He's really interviewed quite a few people in the area, and I think it's up and coming. So it's something you need to look out for. Definitely subscribe to, and hit that like button and the notification bell as well. Chris, good to see you. How's it going, man?
Hey, man, it's going good, man. I appreciate you having me on, man.
No problem.
Yeah, I feel like I'm, stepping into I guess a professional world, I guess, you know what I mean? I was like, I feel like looking at the camera, like, Mom, I made it, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Going from just hanging around a pool table and stuff, and
Right.
and a camera on my phone to mics in my face and all that stuff like
Well,
that.
you better
I can
brace
dig it.
yourself for fame and fortune, buddy, because dozens of people are going to see this.
Right?
And some of them you don't even know. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's cool, man. That's good.
Yeah, we've got
Whatever.
subscribers as far away as I think Katy.
Yeah, Katie's one for sure. I know that.
Like, so you're a celebrity out in Katy?
Nobody knows me there. No.
Not yet. Not yet.
They know us here, though. We
Right.
go out and eat lunch and stuff, and it's
Yeah.
kind of weird. They're like, "You're that guy,"
Yeah.
and they don't know my name or anything, but they know they've seen me. Their parents have watched
You're the guy
me.
with the Dodge Challenger.
Yeah, 5.7 Hemi. And I'll be like, "Would you like my autograph?" And they're going, "No, but you are him."
That's it.
Yeah.
What I'm concerned with is one day somebody's going to walk up and go, "Are you that Hank guy?" And I'm going to go, "Yeah, you son of a bitch."
Punch you right in the face.
Not yeah, yeah, you that Hank guy? Yeah. Well, here you go. You've been served.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's coming, I'm sure.
Right. But
So yeah,
Yeah,
let's
man, I
get
appreciate
back
you
to
having me.
I wanted to find out because we didn't get a chance to talk to it when I was on your show.
yeah,
But how did you get started, man? So what was the deal?
man. It's kind of one of those New Year's resolutions type deals, because I started about a week after New Year's, but I had already been talking about it, for a couple years.
Yeah.
With my buddies or whatever, shout out to Nestor, shout out to Eddie. We're in a group message together, and we're always like, man, we need to do this, we need to do that. I'm like, yeah, man, yeah, you know how it is,
So new year, new beginning.
Right, new year, new me, all that stuff, whatever. I was like, man, you know what, dude, I'm gonna do it, man. And then I got on Facebook, and then I made, and of course, it doesn't mean anything until you put it on Facebook.
Yeah.
So I went on Facebook, and I was like, hey, I'm starting a podcast. Let me know what you guys think, blah blah, whatever. I'm gonna give EMC a voice.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people here that that I support, local.
Right.
And then with all the growth coming out here, you know what I mean, it just seems like they're getting swallowed up. You know what I mean?
Good time to do it.
Yeah, and gyms like workout gyms and tire shops are the worst because I mean, you know what I mean. Every look at every corner or whatever, there's a tire shop or there's a new gym coming up, and the gyms especially, man, because it's so hard to beat $10 a month from Planet Fitness and and all that stuff, whatever, and
Plus they
and
got the big name and it's all
Yeah,
corporate.
the corporate heavyweights.
Yeah, for sure, so. And I'm, I feel like I owe it almost to EMC, because I'm 42 years old. I've been living here almost 40 years because I was away a little bit in the military, and then I came back, and I was just like, this is my home. You know what I mean? EMC's given me so much. I was like, man, I feel obligated, you know what I mean, to give, to give back.
Yeah.
And everybody's, hitting me up or on, on Facebook or text message or whatever, say, hey, where can I go get new tires? Or, hey, you know anybody that does this? You know anybody that does construction? I'm like, yeah, sure, all that. So, and then I get the people that want to complain too. He's like, hey, so-and-so over here or whatever. I'm like, man, you need to tell them this and all that, whatever. And I was like, you know what? I was like, and then when I started the podcast, I was like, here, you tell them now. Look, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'll be, what I'm saying? I'm not going to be your voice. Right. I'm not going to be your voice, but I will be a voice for you. Yeah. So, and just for the people that I know and stuff around here and stuff, and they've been great to me. It's only right to try to help support them any way I can.
Right.
Have you noticed some growth coming your way and spreading out, reaching out your show?
Not as much as you guys. I don't get stopped at the at the local eatery. It's like, hey, you're so and so and all this whatever. But friends and stuff and family members and everything. They're like, oh hey man, I watched the podcast and stuff like that. And then I had you on, and I got like 2 or 3 text messages afterwards. Was like, man, great episode.
That was a good show.
All this and everything. Yeah. So yeah. Actually, Matt Gray. Shout out to Matt Gray. He text messaged me afterwards or whatever. He's like, man, great show. Because we mentioned him on the show.
Right.
So yeah, man. It just I try to surround myself with solid people.
Yeah.
That's why like one of my mottos or whatever at the end of my show is like, stay solid. You know what I mean? Just
I got you.
Be yourself.
So what made you decide to go the video route? Because there's a lot of podcasts out there that are just audio.
Right.
And there's some that are pretty successful that are just audio.
Well, see, that's my thing. But like kind of going off of like Rogan and and the other ones, Tyson. They do video and audio.
Right.
So what I mean? I felt like, and that's my preference. Like when I watch podcasts, I prefer.
To watch it as opposed to
video,
you
know what I mean? So you can see their mannerisms and stuff, and and all that. So that's why I ended up going, audio and video.
Yeah, it's a tougher route.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Well, you get a whole new set of equipment to deal with and everything else.
Yeah. But the hard thing is, for me, I'm trying to find, I don't know about for you guys, but is getting people on the show. They're like, nah, I get nervous once the camera gets on me and stuff. Like my family members, like my wife and and my daughter, we sit down as a dinner, you know what I mean, like every night, or try to every night when we don't have things going on, Mama will cook or whatever, and we'll sit down and at the dinner table, and then we'll just talk about, current events and stuff like that and everything, and I was like, let me bring a mic in here, let me set up my camera, and we'll talk about it, whatever. And then my daughter's like, nah, and then my wife's like, no, I don't like the way I look or whatever, you know what I mean? So I'm thinking about actually going towards, audio as well.
Yeah.
But just as busy as I've been and stuff like that, I don't want to say that I'm not making it a priority. You know what I mean? But I try to prioritize the best I can. You know what I mean? Because I have kids in sports and stuff like that. One just graduated and stuff. So,
But yeah, getting guests on the show is always a challenge.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be on the show until it's time to come on the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then sometimes you just get the ones that don't even reply, and then sometimes you get the ones that are just like, no, I don't think so.
Well, you get the ones that say, yeah, that's a great idea. Okay, when you want to come on? Well, I don't know yet. 6 months later, hey, man, what do you think? Who's this? Start all over again. If you don't want to come on the show, that's cool.
Yeah, it was like that's, and that's the way. I guess that's the way. That's the way I am. I guess that's my personality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I feel a certain way, and I'm kind of brash about it or blunt about it. You know what I mean? That way, there's no confusion. That way, you're not wasting your time trying to get with me or whatever on the show. Or something like that. Right. I'm like, hey, look, I really appreciate you asking me, but it's not really something that I want to do. You know what I mean? Instead of, be like, yeah, man, let's do that, knowing that I really don't want to. And that's kind of the, way I do things in life. If they're like, hey, you want to go do this, whatever, I'm like, nah. And then they're like, well, that's kind of rude. I'm like, well, it's either that or me telling you, yeah, sure, you know what I mean, and then them, try to work things around or whatever, you know what I mean. It's
maybe later, and
right?
Then, I hope it doesn't ask me that again. And,
right? Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's kind of like you're saying, it's like, look, just tell me no. You know, I'm not gonna get my feelings hurt or anything like that. You know, so you know.
Yeah, I like it when people reply, even if it's no.
Right.
You know, so that I send out quite a few invitations every week, and out of those, I'd say maybe 20% come back as yeses.
Right.
And then I'd say 60 to 70% are just not even reply.
Well, it's a numbers game, man. You know, you throw out.
Yeah, I know, but here's the thing:
invitations.
if you invite me to something, I'm gonna at least reply.
Right.
'Cause that's just the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Not just delete the email and say, "Oh well, I'm not even gonna talk to this dude." You know, so it's just ridiculous.
Courtesy, yeah.
You know how it is
crazy.
nowadays. People say, "I don't know that person. It's a scam." Bam. You know.
Right. Well,
So, like when I'm hitting up somebody on like a Facebook or something like that, maybe they're recommended by a friend. Hey, this guy ought to be on the show, or it's just an idea. I won't go on their page and try to write something. I'll send them a message, knowing that they're going to see that message is probably a rip-off scam. Don't click on that. I'll put it in there right out front. Hey there, and tell them who I am, and we do this podcast, and we'd love to have you on the show. And once you get into it a little bit, then I'll put a link down in there of, you know, one of our shows or something like that. So this is what we do. Here's the best of 2021. If you can see how it goes, love to have you on there. Nothing but respect.
Sure.
And I get about 50% response on that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of the way you approach them. You know,
Yeah, and mine's complicated, man.
it doesn't have to be.
Yeah. Right.
I was buying some juice for my vape, and this little red-haired girl with hardware all over her face. I thought, there's a show right there, man.
Yeah. I mean,
And so I'm waiting for her to
So
call me
did it
back.
hurt when you fell in the tackle box?
That'll be one of our questions. But I threw her a card, and, you know, I think the younger you are, the more you're into the social media to begin with, and then podcasts in general.
Right,
So, you know, they're always like, oh, wow, hey, you know, it's legit. And I'd love to have you on the show. You tell me about all your stories, you know, scary things in the head shop or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So I'd like to get one of them on.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Something different.
And I think that would be cool too, is to have somebody that, you know, that owns one of those type of shops, because they don't. I guess they're not perceived with open arms out here. You know what I'm saying? In the East Montgomery County area. Right. You know what I mean? You know, they're not, like, I know my parents or whatever, you know, they're not, and older people, they're not susceptible to.
This is not the big city, right?
Right, yeah. You know, they're not susceptible to places that sell, you know, bongs or, you know, or whatever, you know, that have to do with that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I'd like to sit down with somebody, you know, that owns one of those places, or, you know, or whatever, and be like, hey, you know, first of all, you had to have big stones to come out here and try to do this, and then two, it's like, you know, how's it going? You know what I mean? Are you receiving a lot of hate? Yeah. You know, or, you know, something like that.
Well, that reminds me. You want to tell him about Jonathan Chisholm, or you want to leave that out? Talk about.
I probably would have wanted to talk about it had you not used his name.
Oh man! Like, I was like, "Are you Hank? You just got served."
But I'm okay because I still have his release. He did sign a release, and sent it to me. So, so I wanted to do a series on critical race theory. I wanted to get both ends of that story because it's such a hot topic.
Sure,
you know, and I had invited Steve Toth, who is one of our state legislators, and he's also the guy that wrote the legislation that banned critical race theory pretty much in Texas schools.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So he authored all that. So
and that was a good show too.
Yeah.
But we want to present all sides.
And
this is not an opinionated one direction thing. You know.
Definitely.
And I thought he was, you know, really good, and so I wanted to get that side of the story, you know. But then I wanted the side of the story on the people who are pro critical race theory. So I started doing some research, and I found this guy, Dr. Jonathan Chisholm, and he's a professor out of U of H, and we started talking. And man, I was excited because this guy's edited 2 books and written several on critical race theory. He seems to be one of the guys that knows more about critical race theory than even Stephen Toth does.
Sure.
You know? So I was like, man, I'm going to have this dude on the show. It's going to be great. You know, decent looking guy, well spoken. I watched a bunch of his videos. So I was really excited about having this dude on. And our conversations went on for about 2 weeks, email-wise. And
he's a professor at Rice, is he not?
At U of H, downtown.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. He's actually one of the members of the critical race studies group at that college. So, yeah, excited to have him on. And he's a good spokesperson for his cause. And so it comes the day that we booked. And he had already signed his release. We had already gotten all the legal stuff out of the way. And we had even talked about boundaries. I told him, I said I didn't want it to be a debate. I wanted it to be a discussion.
Right.
I wanted to learn more about critical race theory.
It's going to be. Tell me where you're coming from.
Right. So, and I got down and did some research. I got on the internet and I did as much research about the tenets of critical race theory as I could, and formulated some opinions and some questions about it that I was going to talk to him about without creating a debate.
I did a couple of weeks worth of that myself, watching him on the videos, and
so we're here, and it's day of.
Right,
he's coming.
Right,
I'm basically in a suit. Mark's dressed up. The studio's cleaned up. We're ready to have the studio on. This was going to be a really informative show. So the dude drives past us, turns around, comes the other way, and by that time I was standing in the driveway looking at him.
We're both out there.
We're maybe 5-6 feet from the guy.
He saw us.
Yeah, we made eye contact.
We're waving at him. Hey, is that you?
Right. Yeah.
He drives off.
Oh yeah.
Takes a left on Tram Road and cruises. I'm like, what's going on, dude? So then it takes him like 24 hours to give me a response to the barrage of texts and emails I sent. Hey, that was us standing in the driveway.
Sure,
Turn back around, please. We're ready to do this, and just all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So finally, like 24 hours, maybe even 48 hours later, he sends me this email that says that he was uncomfortable talking about such a hot topic with individuals who he didn't know.
He drove all the way from Houston to get here.
In an area that was from humble beginnings.
Right.
It was too rural. It was too redneck, and we were too damn white.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
I was about to say that's basically you're
what
taking
happened.
the words right out of my mouth.
So
That's
we
what
got profiled by the CRT guy, and you know what, Mr. Chisholm, you owe me $35 for the trip out here and back.
For real,
I won't even charge you for a whole day wasted.
Yeah, for real. So you got profiled by somebody.
We
that
got discriminated against.
Okay, yeah.
By the guy that wrote the book on discrimination.
Yeah,
which I think is awesome.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody else was really mad.
That's
I was
nuts,
happy.
That's nuts.
Everybody's like, "Why are you happy?" I said, "Because this is awesome."
Yeah.
Who gets discriminated against by the guy that wrote the book on that shit?
That's
I thought it was great.
So that's a guest story for you. And the bottom line is, it takes big balls to come out here, like you said.
Yeah.
And sometimes
and put yourself out there on the show too.
Right. I didn't know. Maybe he had a bodyguard in there with him. Obviously he didn't, but that was ridiculous.
Yeah,
that was.
Man, and even after that, I tried to get him back. I wanted him back on the show.
Yeah, yeah.
And I told him, I said, dude, this is an open invitation. If you ever want to come on, I want to have that conversation.
Right.
And I've even contacted a few other professors that are in that group, in the critical race studies group. Not even so much as a reply.
Oh, I'm sure
so
he had
I'm
already
sure
said something. Yeah,
that word's already gotten around. It's too bad because
we
were really willing to have the conversation, not the debate.
I was like, I don't understand what he thought was going to happen to him out here or something like that.
He drove all the way from Houston.
It's like I told Mark, I said, it's not like we were standing out there with cut off sleeves and holding a rope or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Squeal, boy.
and that's what gets me, man. That's what gets me about these city folk. Really, kind of getting off topic a little bit, but they claim, the city, the inner city or whatever. It's so tough. It's this, it's that, and stuff and everything. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you guys got it easy out in the country and stuff and all that.
Try again.
I'm like, trust me, bro. Out here, there's no street lights for one. You know what I mean? Whatever. And then bodies are never found out here. You know what I'm saying? You go missing out here, bodies are never found, man.
That's right.
Like, I don't know if you guys remember the big fire, I guess probably maybe 20 years ago.
It. Yeah,
in
back
Casey
in
Ridge.
Roman Forest and
yeah,
all that.
In Casey Ridge, right?
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 bodies were found.
Yeah.
Whenever they, did all the recovery or whatever from all that stuff. You know what I mean?
That was a big fire.
Yeah. So I'm like, look, this is where, or this, I guess this is whatever the desert or whatever in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Where this is where bodies are handled out here. You know what I'm saying? So, you think you got it tough. I don't mind going into the city. A lot of people are like, oh man, it's too rough and all that stuff like that. I don't mind it because, like I said, I think it's way worse out here in like places like this. And I think y'all just proved it by that dude just turning around and going back to where he came from.
I don't know what scared him, man, but something tweaked him, and he's like, I'm not getting out of my car.
Right.
Then again, I think it was an Audi. It was a really nice car. Dude had on a bow tie, and I'm sure he's kind of uppity, which is cool with me. But I just wanted to have a conversation with a guy that can articulate a great argument for it.
Yeah.
No,
100%. And then that was another reason why I do my stuff off of my phone. And well, for one, I'm cheap. But two is that like I'm mobile. You know what I mean? Like I can go to places, they're like, oh man, I'm super busy or whatever. And, I try to give my guests or whatever a no way out type situation, like kind of like make them tell me no, because like my friend of mine, whatever, he's like, man, I'm so busy or something like that. I'm like, hey man, I'll come to you.
Yeah.
Whatever, take, whatever. I'm not trying to take much of your time or whatever, but, all my stuff's mobile, so it can come to you, if you need to.
Yeah.
But try to give them like, toward it, like I said, where do they have to tell me no?
Yeah.
So who was your first guest?
My first guest was supposed to be Matt Gray. It was supposed to be.
Okay.
Right. Okay. But
and that was,
all that.
And that
stuff,
was at the time he was
right
running,
when he was running for
okay.
election and all that stuff like that. Right. Well, he was like, he didn't say it. He was like, definitely let's do it.
Yeah.
Right. And I gave him some dates, whatever, and he picked one or whatever. It just so happened to be like in February or something. You know what I mean? Whatever. And I wanted to get started now.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I talked to this realtor lady. Shout out to Samantha Sloan and her husband Derek Sloan. Really good people. Derek, I've known, we went to high school together and stuff like that. And, and then he married Samantha, and she's from out here too.
Okay.
And she got into realty, and all that stuff, whatever. Now I'm not really, don't quote me, but I think she's like doing like her own brokerage now.
Okay.
Stuff like that,
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, I'd love to come on the show. Let's do it, like that. So they were my very first guests. And at that point, I didn't even have microphones. I didn't have nothing. I had my phone in the corner.
Yeah.
And just, it's like just going, what I mean?
You got to start somewhere.
Right.
You should see some of Hank's first shows.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, and just the support. They were one of Derek was another one that texted me after me and you did our podcast, or I had you on my show. And he's like, man, great episode, and all this, whatever. They're one of my biggest supporters, man.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. And like I said, I've known him for a long time. He's helped me out in, over the years, and I've, tried to repay the favor,
So how was that first show?
Man, it was tough.
But you got addicted, didn't you?
Right. Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's a good drug.
Yeah,
it really is.
100%. Like now, I'm kind of like, I don't even know that the mics are there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
you get used to it after a while.
Yeah. But at first I was like, man, I hope I don't say the wrong thing. I hope I don't do this.
That's the way I felt when he
stuff.
Introduced me as his new co-host.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Right.
Am I visibly shaking, or am I just feeling it? Oh my God. That goes away real fast.
I've gone back and looked at that show too. Couldn't tell. You were all right.
Well, you just blew my head off out of left field, like you do every time anyway. What'd you have for breakfast anyway this morning?
I had eggs and bacon and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's it.
Standard breakfast.
That's y'all's go-to, right? Because that's what, like the second you talk about his car and then you ask him what he have for bread. That's like the go-to thing on every episode that I've seen. Yeah. It's like kind of going back and forth.
He's always messing with me for the last 42 years.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good.
That's good stuff though. That's awesome that y'all guys keep in touch.
I just wish
that
I was 30 instead of 60.
Yeah.
Because I want to do this for a long time and
sure.
really get good at it and have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad. I've thought that 100 times.
Yeah.
It's like, man, why didn't I start this earlier?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not like.
But when we were 30, I don't think the internet was out yet.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm glad y'all said it because I wasn't.
Would have been hard.
No,
we had two cans and a string.
Yeah.
My new co-host.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, what back then, the only one that was really doing it was Stern.
Yeah,
and that was really it.
And it was more of a show than a podcast.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Like the word podcast wasn't even invented then.
Right.
So yeah, but not man, like I said, the whole small circle thing is that everybody has their small circle. You know what I mean? Like, I have my family, you know, they're in my small circle. I have my 1 or 2 friends or whatever that are in my small circle that I let them in, into, I consider family, consider brothers, stuff like that. Those 2 or those 3 that are in my small circle, they have their small circle, of friends and family and stuff like that, you know what I mean, whatever. And then their small circle has their small circle, you know what I'm saying? So it continues, and all that. And so that's the basis off of my show is that, like, I have different people on, right? And, it's like a network almost. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, yeah, what do you do? I'm like, oh, man, I do karaoke, and stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I was like, hey, if you guys need any karaoke or whatever, I want people. I saw
that guy.
Yeah, Wade Maxwell. Yeah, shout out to Wade. I want people to get as comfortable with small circle to where they're like, I need somebody that does remodeling. Let me get with Chris if he's had anybody on the show that's done remodeling or something like that, because I know that Chris's word is gold. You know what I mean? He vets this person, so that's all that. Yeah. So even before the show started, I was like, look, I'm doing this, whatever, because I want to support local and all this. I want to give back to EMC. I want to be y'all's voice, all this and everything. A buddy of mine, this story entails 2 people, and we've been to high school we've known each other ever since like the 5th grade, right? But things happen, you grow apart and stuff like that or whatever. Yeah. One of them, shout out to Oscar Ramirez, one of them I keep in touch with like almost weekly, right? But the other one, shout out to Calvin Parker, he does roofs, he's a fireman, whatever, 20 years in fire department, and he does roof on the side. Calvin hit me up and was like, hey, I want to be on the show. I was like, yeah, sure, man, no problem. And I was, we could talk about EMT and all that stuff, how you got started. And then he's like, yeah, and then I do roofing too. I said, okay, cool. And then this is all in the comments on my video that I was like, in my introduction video. I haven't even done a show yet, right? And then my buddy Oscar, he texts me, and he was like, hey man, what's Calvin's number? And I had it, and he goes, I need my roof looked at. And then it had already come full circle, and I haven't even done a podcast yet. That's cool. You know what I mean? Because that's what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? And then, and it comes, and then later on, I find out or whatever that Oscar and Calvin met up, and they haven't even talked to each other probably since high school. So this was like 20 years ago. And nothing. They were friends then. They just lost touch. So I just try to help people out as much as I can.
It's a thing.
That's what I'm doing.
Small circle. Good idea, man.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is, man. And I try to keep it local, but as local as I can. Yeah. I need to come out here more. I almost kind of forget about Splendora almost, because I work in Conroe and I'm a homebody, so I just come home to, Porter and, and all that. I might go out to eat or something like that, whatever. But, the way New Caney and Porter are growing up so much, you know what I mean? You kind of forget about Splendora.
Well, your show's reach will grow. Just
I hope so. Yeah,
it will organically.
Well, like I said, I'm coming over here on Tuesday to get tires from Julio. Shout out to Julio Del Toro at the tire shop. And he's a solid dude. I've known him for years or whatever, like when he used to work at at King Tire right there, in the corner over there. And then he, so that's a cool story right there. And I really want him to, whatever, but he's kind of giving me that, like, I respect him because he's just like, nah, you know what I mean? I'm like, man, come on, man. He
told me, he goes, I think I'll say the wrong thing.
Yeah, exactly, like, really,
right? Dude, come on, you?
Yeah, I mean, right, yeah. And he's so, he's like, but he's a big supporter of the community too. Yeah, like I had
just show up at his shop with a camera, and just go.
That's what I told him. I said, hey, because he gave me a quote on the tires. Yeah, I said, okay, cool, man. I'll buy them from you. I said, but you got to come on the podcast.
There you go.
Good idea.
Yeah.
So, but nah, man. Shout out to Julio, man. He's a great dude. He's a big supporter in the community, EMC, you know, in general. You know. Yeah. He had a square body long. I did a car show for Project Graduation for my son. He graduated this year, and I had a car show, and he came out there. You know, and that's when we're talking about, you know, and he came up to me. He was like, "Oh man, you know, I seen you and Nestor and Eddie or whatever. Y'all did a podcast or whatever." I was like, "Yeah." So I had him on the show and all that stuff. I was like, "Man, I'm trying to get you on there." Yeah. And that's when he was like, "Yeah, nah, I don't know. I don't know." I was like, "All right, man." You know, and I have a lot of friends that you know, like you said, they want to come on, right, and they want to support me, you know, and but they're like, you know, they work for the school district and they don't want to say the wrong things or whatever, you know.
We've had some of that too.
You can always offer them just an audio only solution. Right. So look, how about we just do audio and nobody has to see
Nobody has to see you, right? And you can do whatever you know, or say whatever you want or whatever. But I don't think it's. I just, you know, and that's another thing I told him. I was like, man, it's not like I'm trying to set you up, or it's not like we're doing it live. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if we can go on for, you know, whatever, an hour and a half or whatever, and if you're like, and I'll let you watch it before I post it. Yeah. And you're like, hey, you know, 10 minutes in to 12 minutes in, can you edit that out? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's fair enough. You know, the right of first refusal, say, oh, we're not doing this, we're not, you know, cut that out.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, I'm no podcaster by any means. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you are.
You know, well, you know, well, I mean, I'm nowhere. I'm nowhere big
shows,
as
I can
this,
show them
man.
to you. You're a podcaster, dude.
Man, we are small taters. Hank has done a wonder with the visuals.
That's what I'm saying. I'm looking around or whatever. I'm just like, man, this beats a game room by any means, you know. So, and what's crazy is that, you know, shout out to my wife, man, Tanya. She's been, you know, we've been together since high school. And
wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, man. Yeah, she's been with me through the military, all that stuff. You know, we got 3 kids and stuff, and then and she, you know, she's my rock, man. She keeps me in line. You know, she keeps me right where I need to be, and she just comes up with great ideas. You know, and because I have an entertainment room in my game room as well. It's like 3 big recliners. You know, whatever. Nice, you know, so you know, I planned on having it there at first. You know, and then Tanya was like, you know what you should do? You know, you should just set the camera up in the corner, and then you guys play pool, or, you know, or sit around the pool table. You know what I mean, or something like that. Whatever, you know, and just talk like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really a podcast.
What's the room with all the iconic pictures and photographs? And
that's my game room.
I love that, man.
Yeah, and that's that was kind of one of my deals. Is before when we built the game room, I want all the iconic pictures that there are. You know what I mean? The Albert Einstein sticking his tongue out. Mm-hmm. You know, whatever, was it the sailor and the woman or whatever, and, you know, him dipping her, you know, just all these, you know, just iconic. War. Yeah, my favorite one on there, if I don't know if you can see it or whatever, on some you can, some you can't, whatever, it's the Vietnam Wall, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a guy in a suit, right, and he's holding a briefcase like that, and he's holding his hand against the wall like that, and he has his head down like that, and he's crying, and on the reflection of the wall, it's his buddies that had passed away in the BDUs, and they're holding his hand too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's really moving, man.
I like the fact that you've got John F. Kennedy and Marilyn real close to each other.
You caught that, right?
You know,
you caught that, yeah.
They were very friendly, you know.
Yeah, oh, for sure, yeah. And I mean, you know, JFK, he's the GOAT in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's the greatest. Yeah. So, you know, if his life hadn't ended so short, I think he really could have done some great things. Mm-hmm. You know, but that just goes to show you that, you know, there's something bigger out there. You know what I mean? It's like, hey man, don't get too big for your, you know, for your britches. You know. Yeah. So.
But yeah, it's a good place to have a show. It is. You know?
I think so. Awesome. Yeah, man. They said, man, I try not to disappoint, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's my way of life, really. You know what I'm saying? As a son, as a father, as a husband, as an employee. You know, as a friend.
You're always setting an example, whether you mean to or not.
Right, yeah. So I try not to disappoint, man. You know, they're like, man, you're doing a great job. I'm like, hey, man, I'm just trying not to disappoint. You know, I'm a real humble guy. Or I like to think so anyway. Yeah. But, you know, the last thing that I want to do, you know, is to disrespect the craft. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't want somebody. I understand. You know, I don't want somebody to come in or whatever and be like, man, this guy, man, he's a joke. I don't know what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Because like I said, I just do everything off of my phone and my laptop. You know what I mean? I don't want somebody to come in being like, yeah, this dude, he's not no podcaster or whatever, you know, because he doesn't have the expensive stuff or, you know, and all that.
That's just dollars. That's all it is.
That's what I say. Shout out to you, man, because you opened me, you came to me with open arms, you know, it was like, hey, man.
Don't let your insecurities hold you back.
Yeah.
And everybody that's done something great has done something a little different, you know.
Yeah.
So follow your heart on that. You're a good guy. You're not going to make any big mistakes.
I mean, I try not to, you know what I mean? And I got a great support team, you know what I mean? Like I said, that's what keeps me going, you know what I mean? Because they're like, we were talking on my podcast about catching a dry spell every now and then, you know what I mean? Stuff. And I just hit one. You know, because I was dropping one every week, like every Monday. Yeah. You know what I mean? So,
and then you've got to live up to that, or it looks like you're falling off.
Yeah. And then I missed a couple Mondays, and like I didn't get like any responses or anything like that from anybody. And I'm just like, and you know what, man? You know, maybe this isn't catching on. Maybe this isn't that, or whatever like that. And then I did yours, you know, and then as I said, man, I got like 2 or 3 text messages and stuff. Man, great work
keep
and all
moving
this.
forward.
Like, cool,
we got a new subscriber in Katie. I'll tell you that.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So, what if the damn thing just takes off? I mean, have you considered it?
No, not really.
You need to.
I definitely need to for sure.
You know, and start planning now for the future. I mean, you're not going to be able to shoot it on your phone forever if it takes off.
Yeah.
If it turns into something big.
Yeah.
You know, you may need to move some of them recliners out and make you a space.
100%, man. You know, and I would love it if it did blow up like that, you know.
Well, that's just persistence and determination. And it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
Put in the numbers and it'll eventually pay off.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, if you keep doing it, you're going to end up doing it to yourself.
For sure.
By continuing to do it, you'll automatically become successful.
And don't be afraid to aim high with your invitations.
Yeah, right.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's what's funny.
All they can do is say no or ignore you. You know,
that's what's funny, man.
I sent an invitation to Joe Rogan.
Did you?
I absolutely did,
man.
And this was, 9 months ago when we were still,
right,
just a speck on.
Send him another message. Hey, man, you still thinking about it?
Right. He'll come around the corner and just keep driving. Man.
Yeah, probably would.
What was that? Oh no, yeah. That's my wife is the same way, man. Like she had sent a Dan Crenshaw whenever he was like politicking.
Dan's
he
hard to
came
get.
out here, right?
Yeah,
he
really
was at a Gringo's.
Yeah.
And then Tanya was like, I'm gonna send him an email and all this whatever. And then she's like, let's go up there and try to catch him as he's coming out. And I was like, I was like, nah, chill.
Yeah.
I was like, chill, man, chill.
Hell yeah,
just
do it.
chill.
No,
Get
you some cards, man.
Yeah.
And walk right up to him and just slide one right in his pocket. There
right
you
on.
go.
Yeah.
Best thing you can do, just act like you own the place, and you're letting him be there. So,
right, right, yeah, for sure.
Glad you got to see me. Here, take that.
Say something like, I'll check my schedule, and if I can get you in, I will.
Right, yeah. Hopefully you won't get bumped.
We've got the cat juggler coming in that day. Can you make it Sunday?
Yeah. Nah, man, it's just, but I'm not into politics really that much anyway. So local politics, I am for sure, 100%, because I feel like I can make a difference, or we, the voters out here, can make a difference, right? As far as like presidential, and we had talked about this too. The last presidential election was a joke to me.
Sorry, I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Wow.
It looks like an issue with the router and Echo device.
Is that you, Mark?
So try restarting them.
It's not me.
That's
your side bitch.
Let me get her to shut up.
Once the router is back on and connected to the internet, plug in the Echo device.
Wow.
Oh, man.
That's the first murder on the show.
Oh, yeah.
Alexa, make me a ham sandwich.
I killed her. She's gone.
Okay.
That was weird.
But
sorry about that, y'all.
Nah, yeah,
that's never happened
At
before.
least you know that none of this is scripted. So,
but anyway, yeah. So like the presidential election, that sealed the deal for me. I was like, I think I'm done voting. That's the only reason. The only reason why I probably would vote is because I work in the oil and gas industry, so I have to vote red.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in order for me to keep my job going.
Right. I understand the sentiment, but please don't go all the way to the point where you just don't vote at all.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. But I mean, to be honest with you, like, what good does it do though? You know what I mean? I mean, if you saw the last election, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
I mean,
I saw it, and I got a lot of problems with it.
Right.
But you still have to use your voice.
Yeah.
If you get more people, that's one of the big problems. I don't remember how many people voted in that last election, but it was.
I think they're still counting.
It was, but it was a small percentage of the population of the country.
Right.
So if you get the entire country to actually stand up and vote, and then start bitching about it, you're going to make some progress.
Yeah.
It's just really hard to do with the amount of people that are involved.
But I think you make a good point, and the local is really what you got to focus on, because that's what you can change and what you can really affect.
Definitely.
Like the
and it's that small circle theory.
Sure. The MSED was decided by a couple of dozen votes here and there, and your school boards on up, man.
Yeah. And the thing, the big change, whatever, that, and what proved to me that local elections and stuff like that, whatever, you can make a difference in local elections, was when Matt Gray won. You know what I mean? Because Metz is a big name, and he's been around for a long time. You know what I mean? And nobody thought that Matt Gray was going to stand a chance.
He came out swinging.
He did, man.
That guy was everywhere. You know what I think? This is what I think. I think he was triplets. There's 3 of him, because that dude was everywhere, man.
He was everywhere.
He was.
Man. Yeah, he was.
He ran a good, solid, strong campaign. And you know who else did? Crystal Moore did. Crystal Moore ran a good, solid, strong campaign. Same way Matt did.
Yeah, shout out to Crystal Moore for sure, because I met her when my dad and her were I think Leonard Rogers, and they were the only ones that were up at the polls, like working them, like the 12 hours a day that they were there and stuff. You know what I mean? And that's important to me. You know what I mean? I was like, when you go up there and you don't see the candidate that, or somebody representing you and stuff, man, I just like, that just shows me the commitment that you have, really.
Yeah.
To be honest, so.
That's because you become an intelligent voter,
Right, yeah.
You put more into it than most people do.
Yeah.
So.
But anyway.
But yeah, you got to keep moving along with your channel, man. And I've found, as far as guests go, the easiest guests to get on the show are people with a purpose. If you can find somebody that's got a purpose, somebody that wants to get their information out for one reason or another, regardless of what the purpose is, they'll be a lot easier to sign than somebody who just you want to tell their story.
That's true. Yeah. Somebody who's wanting to come out and inform people, we're going to take the opportunity to come out there and be on your show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. And another thing is, you too, you do it out of your house, or on the property, whatever. I have to vet, which I always want to vet people anyway, before I have them on the show. I don't want to have somebody, whatever, that's, robbed somebody or something, or done somebody wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, no offense to you or anything like that, whatever, but I've only heard of you. I haven't met you, anything like that, whatever. You know what I mean? So I did my due diligence or whatever. I was like, hey man, Hank Vatt, the podcaster and stuff, what do you think of him? Oh man, great guy. I was like, got nothing but great stuff. You wouldn't have been on the show if I had gotten a lot of negative stuff. And there's some people that want to be on my show, but I won't let them. Just because that they've done people wrong and stuff like that, and they just shouldn't be in business in the EMC.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna bash them. I'm not gonna. I'm just not gonna support them,
promote them.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, Hank sees it a vet because you got 86 episodes to choose from.
Yeah.
You can just watch him.
Yeah, for sure.
This is actually our 90th today.
Is that right?
It's our 90th episode, so we're nearing 100.
We should have a cake. For the 100th, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of cake?
Chocolate.
Oh.
Wrong answer. Yellow.
Right, so, hey, look, yellow cake. So, look. Here you go. You pick the cake, and then you pick the ice cream.
There you go.
Is that cool?
Yeah, okay.
It works.
Set it up.
Yeah,
but,
cake and ice cream. How about white cake and champagne? Now we're talking.
Man, that's a party.
Hell yeah. Should be a party.
What kind of ice cream?
Cold.
The best kind.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, bunny. What is it? Bunny, blue bunny, bunny tracks, some shit like that.
I think it's blue bunny.
Blue bunny. Yeah.
Bunny pellets.
Yeah.
That'll
be the chocolate.
That's a good seller. Yeah, that's a good seller.
Let's go back to Chris because we just took a drop off.
Yeah.
Nah, it's all good, man. I mean, hey, that's what this is for anyway, man. You know how it is. That's funny that you were like, or it was like, what kind of ice cream? Cold? But my dad, whenever he comes over or we go places or whatever and stuff, whatever. I'm a particular man. Whenever I drink Budweiser, and that's all I drink, right? And if it's not there, then I just won't drink. You know, it's not a big deal. But my dad, I'm like, hey, what? You know, we get somewhere or whatever. You know what I mean? And my dad's like, you got any beer? And they're like, yeah. What kind do you want? He goes, look, there's only 2 types of beer I drink. That's free and cold.
Yeah, that's it.
You got it narrowed down to those two.
Yeah, that's it, man. You know, he's like, I'm not picky, just free or cold. That's it. You know, shout out to my dad, man. I love my dad and my mom too, man. You know,
I met him.
They're big pillars of EMC, both of them, man. My mom, you know, a lot of people sleep on my mom because, you know, you don't really see her that much, but she was a teacher, and she worked the reception office or whatever up at like many schools in the EMC area. You know what I'm saying? So I get it for, you know, from people or whatever that come up to me like, oh, you're Martin Zepeda's son, you know? Yeah, then you must have met my dad, you know, somewhere or whatever, out and about or something like that or whatever. Yeah. But then I never get like, hey, you're Gloria Zepeda's son. It's always, you're Mrs. Zepeda's son. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well then you must have either had my mom as, you know, as a teacher, or you know, your kid or whatever, you saw her at the reception office or something somewhere like that or whatever.
People talk about what they're familiar with.
Right. Yeah.
So I met your dad at the Forum. Did you come to the Forum?
Man, my kid had a basketball game, so I couldn't make it.
Priorities.
You know what I mean? Right. Yeah. So I really wanted to be there, you know, and that's another thing, man. That was so awesome that you guys did that. It was really cool because it needed to be done.
It was
awesome. I like doing the Forum. It was cool.
You're right. Yeah. I mean, it needed to be done because, you know, a lot of, you know, you just see Facebook, you just see pictures, you know what I mean, or maybe a couple of videos or whatever, you know what I mean, with the music behind them or the music going and the Texas flag, or, you know, the American flag behind them, you know what I mean, them staring off into the distance, you know, and all that stuff, you know. So you actually get a face to face, and, you know, you get to see how they're acting, you know, on
the spot.
There you go.
With the questions that came from the audience.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. You know, I mean, it's hard to prepare for that. You know what I mean? My dad was nervous, man. He was nervous because he didn't know what was going to ask.
He was nervous.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
And then we went out and made the rounds on election day. Yeah, and he was out there sweating just right along with everybody else.
Man, I'm telling you, man. It, you know, and it really broke my dad, man. You know, when he didn't get it. You know what I mean? Whatever. And he, you know, I think he took it I think he took the loss the right way. Yeah. Too. You know what I mean? He easily could have, you know, this and this and all that stuff and all that. You know, because EMC meant a lot to him. Right? Yeah. You know, I mean, you know, the MCED meant a lot to him. Right. You know what I mean? Because he's been here over 50 years. Mm-hmm. You know.
How long had he been on the board?
I think it's 8. I think. You know, because he ran unopposed the next time that he was, because his position comes up every 4 years. I think they vote every 2 years, but his position come up every 4 years. So this was his second, so it's 8. You know what I mean? And
well, he can give him another shot if he wants to.
Yeah, and that's what. Yeah, and but you know, I don't know if he wants to go that route. I really don't. This one really kind of stressed him out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I don't think that he was expecting Liz to run against him. You know. And because he's known Liz pretty much her whole life, you know, her and David, you know, whatever, you know. So he kind of, I wouldn't say he got his feelings hurt or whatever. He was just surprised, I guess. Yeah. And nothing against Liz and nothing against David, you know what I mean? And that's what I had to tell my dad. I was like, man, this is the game that you play, man. Yeah. You know, I mean, you know, this is politics. You know what I mean? It's nothing personal. It's just politics. You know, so, but I mean, you know, I don't know if he's, you know, I'm not trying to speak for him or anything like that, whatever. But to me, you know, the stress that it put on my mom and, you know, and me and my sister, I don't know if he's gonna do it again or not. But he might, you know what I mean? You know, 2 years is a long time, or 4 years is, you know, it's a long time, but it's not, you know what I mean? So he might, you know, I think he already feels different about it. I just talked to him yesterday, and he's like, man, you know, they got with me. The MCED got with me. They don't want me to go nowhere, and, you know, they still want me to be a part of it.
That's good.
I'm like,
should
man,
be too.
Cool. Yeah, for sure.
You know, he's done a lot, so I mean, he should be.
Yeah. Well, now see the thing now is they need an interpreter now. Because they don't have anybody to speak Spanish up there.
Really?
Yeah.
So I told him.
Maybe he can get a paid gig.
That's what I told him.
A consultant.
That's what I told him. I was like, man, I said, hey, get your DBA.
Yeah, it's $5 a word.
And boom.
$5 a word.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah. Hey, get some of your money back, you know? But,
well, the Hispanic community is growing so much.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to actually everybody's going to need to do everything, in 2 languages or more coming up.
Yeah.
So
well, they're business owners and customers, and
Yeah. So, can you speak Spanish?
A little bit.
Well, man, you need to pick it up, dude,
No,
because
for sure.
be able to do your podcast in Spanish.
Yeah. Well, see, Roddy Hayden wanted to come on my show.
He speaks Spanish?
No. and he thought I
had to. Sorry.
He thought I did.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, man, nah, I don't. I said, but I can get my dad to come over and he can interpret it for you and stuff like that. See, the thing about it is, man, is that when my parents first moved out here, like it was, segregation was still kind of a big thing out here.
Yeah.
And my parents or whatever, and I think maybe another couple or whatever were the only Hispanics that were out here when they got moved out here, And then my dad, he had told stories about whenever he was younger that he used to get beat up for speaking Spanish.
Really?
So he didn't want to teach me and my sister. They didn't want to teach me and my sister Spanish.
But they spoke Spanish in the home, right?
Right, yeah, 100%. Because my grandma and my grandpa had passed away, but my grandma, she speaks nothing but Spanish.
Yeah.
So I can carry a conversation. You know what I'm saying, and I can speak it. You know what I'm saying. I know whenever I'm getting talked about. Let's say that.
Yeah, that's how I am with Dutch. Because my folks were both Dutch.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So they spoke Dutch in the home.
Yeah.
But they didn't teach it to me or my sister. But I knew it.
Yeah.
And we'd sit at the dinner table and they'd be talking about me. I'd be like, man, really?
Right.
Just say it in English.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh,
and it's kind of a touchy subject for me because, man, we're in America. You know what I mean? Like, it would be different if I don't think I should feel like I should have to speak Spanish here in America. You know what I mean? Like when I go to whatever, another country or something or whatever, when I go to France or go to Mexico or something like that or whatever, I try to get the Google translator out and try to how to say this and all that stuff. I try to accommodate to their language because I'm in their foreign country. You know what I mean? So, like, why should I have to accommodate to somebody that comes from another country? You know what I'm saying? They should accommodate to me.
More conducive to doing business and going to school and getting things done.
Exactly, right? Yeah, connections. I'm sure you get more connections that way. And it's probably just my pride talking, you know what I mean? But, I'm just like, man, why should I, and it upsets me because, like, and it does upset me when people are, like, look down on me because I don't know Spanish. You know what I mean? They're like, you don't know Spanish?
I don't know Spanish.
I'm like,
I don't know Gaelic.
Nobody
or Comanche.
Right? Yeah. They're like, you don't know Spanish? I'm like, I know enough to get you killed. and that normally,
food.
Right? Yeah, that normally backs them down a little bit.
That's the same in every language.
Right? Yeah. So. But nah, man. It's just But I understand what you mean though. Because the population's growing so much out here, and it's there is a lot of Hispanic people out here.
Yeah, and I've actually been thinking about trying to find somebody to translate so I can do podcasts in Spanish if I need to.
For sure. Yeah. And I mean, they have apps now and stuff on your phone or whatever, that can teach you and stuff like that or whatever. And I probably will eventually, start learning more and more because now I'm starting to miss out on job opportunities as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, bilingual preferred, or required or something like that, so. Yeah. Well, anyway.
I'm glad I'm past all that. So I'm too old to go out and get a job now.
Yeah, right.
They look at me like, I don't think so, dude.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, no, but I don't know, man. Let's see.
I like your intro, man, on Small Circle.
Oh, the take 32 and all that stuff? Yeah.
I imagine that is born of actually happening, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
I can't say that. Take 2. And if I piss you off, I don't mean, I can't say that.
So, it's like, look, if I say something that hurts your feelings or something, I apologize. You just need to man up and grow a pair. And I'm like, you can't say that. I can't say that. And then I throw up 32, take 32 or whatever, and then, the show goes on. So but man, I plan on keeping it going, for as long as I can,
roll with it.
The whole thing when I start, my expectations were really small. Like I was expecting, maybe my wife and maybe a couple of my friends to watch it. That, you know, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't looking at the views. I wasn't looking at my subscribers or nothing like that. I was just like, you know, just going with it. You know what I mean? It just, my expectations were really small. I wasn't expecting to get to 10 episodes. You know what I mean? So now I'm sitting, I think you were the 15th episode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, it's all, you know, it's all great things from here on out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like my goals have been, you know, met.
Yeah, and your subscriber count's pretty high for only 15 episodes.
Yeah, right.
So,
Which I don't know anything about all that
that's
stuff.
pretty good.
70.
So
Pretty good. I think he's at 80. I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think you sharing it, like, you know, so like, I think it bumped me up a bit.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So yeah, and then I think your episodes will get better and better as you learn and get comfortable with it.
Yeah.
You know, and figure out what kind of guest you want and maybe a different direction or whatever you know.
Yeah.
Because I had plans on going a certain direction, it didn't pan out. You know, but I'm happy with the way things are going.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask you. Just
yeah. I think it's been well, and I'm planning on, if it ever breaks out and does really good, what we'll do. You know, so I mean, it may never happen, but if it does, I want to be ready for it.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah.
Well, here's the way I look at it. I enjoy the variety. You know, we'll have a general from Afghanistan one day, and then we're taste testing craft beers the next. You know, there's always something going on, and you can try to be an expert in a little bit of everything that way. You know.
Yeah.
But having fun and trying to, you know, be informative and be entertaining. That's it for me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's got to say a lot for you to drive all the way from Katy out here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, to do this stuff. You know what I mean? That shows, it speaks volumes.
Well, if I lived next door, I'd be sneaking over here because I have my own key. I'd be sneaking over here shooting my own stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. The Hart Mogenstein show.
Right.
We got a prostitute from Bissonnet Street here today. So, how'd that all get started, ma'am?
Man, hey, let me subscribe right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's funny, dude. That's hilarious.
I'll have a thumbnail everybody will click on. What?
Yeah, for sure.
Don't leave me in charge.
Yeah.
So who you got coming up? Got anything coming up?
Who do I have coming up, man? I have to look at my calendar. I'm trying to get... this is one of the ones. Shout out to Matt Peterson right there at Buster Brown. Mm-hmm. You know, the propane place.
Yeah,
and then his wife does
Matt's a good friend of mine.
The Buster Brew.
Yeah.
You know, I had talked to him on the phone, and he's like, "Man, yeah, dude, this sounds good." You know, and then he even told my dad, he's like, "Yeah, man, I can't wait to do his show and all this, whatever." But you know, as busy as he is and stuff like that, or whatever, I've been trying to get him on and stuff like that. Rowdy Hayden, that's another one or whatever. I've been trying to get him on. You know, but I mean. Not really. There for a while when I first started, everybody, you know, I had like, you know, 10 or 12 people, you know, in line and stuff, but it kind of died off now.
But it's seasonal too.
Whatever. Yeah.
I bet you didn't know that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, during the wintertime, man, they're ready.
Okay.
You know, but during summer, it's hard to nail people down. Yeah. They're all out partying, drinking beer, making barbecue, you know, concerts and everything else. During the winter, everybody's hibernating. Yeah. They're watching your show. And they're like, man, I want to be on that show.
Yeah. I never thought about that.
I didn't know that either, man. I appreciate it. That makes me feel better now because it's there for a while. Like, I was like, man, dude, I can't get anybody to come on the show.
Yeah.
You know,
we try to keep 8 or 10 on a string, man, so we can pull one in, you know, here and there. That's what I do anyway.
Yeah. And then I kind of want to do reoccurring too. You know what I mean? Whatever, have some friends over and stuff. Me and Nestor and Eddie, whatever we do, we did one sports one. But trying to get them two together with me, you know, and it's hard. You know what I mean? Whatever. But Eddie, he's real knowledgeable in basketball. You know, and the finals are going on right now. Yeah. And all that. And then my another buddy, Nestor or whatever, he's real deep into fantasy football.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
Sports is a great topic too. There's a lot of people in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of podcasts just dedicated to that kind of thing. You know.
Yeah. So he's real good about that too. So, you know, and plus I've known these guys probably, you know, like y'all, you know, just since high school and stuff, whatever. So we crack on each other and stuff like that. You know, kind of go back and forth. And all that stuff. Yeah, and man, that was something that I wanted to ask you. I can't remember what it was now. And I remember whenever we're like deep into a conversation and stuff like that or whatever. But
well, man, I appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, man.
You know, and it's been good.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, man, it really
anything
has.
that I can do to help you out, just
Yeah,
let me know.
yeah, man, yeah,
We'll
and
definitely do it.
yeah, I'd really like to network with you for sure, man,
Yeah.
because you know, I haven't watched all 90, you know, of your episodes, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Well, if you
It's
start
a
now,
lot.
we'll meet you back here next Sunday and
right,
see what you learn.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm sure there's some people on there that I would love to talk to as well. You know
Well, I'll tell you
I mean?
what, Hank can help you a lot in is the technical and the IT and the editing and the cameras and the microphones and the candles.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah.
have the right
Gotta have
candles.
the right
Nothing
candles,
works
man.
without the right candles.
That's 100%.
Yeah, I've got about 25 candles in here.
Yeah.
So I don't. It just happened. I don't know.
just happened.
Yeah, it just kind of happened. I got more candles than guitars, so I got to fix that.
Oh, I remember what I wanted to ask you now.
Okay.
Okay. When a tragedy happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know, and okay, just say this for the Robb Elementary thing in Uvalde,
Yeah.
right? Okay. When is it okay to talk about it? When's the you know, because if
Right away.
if you I feel like if you do it right away, it's like you're almost exploiting it.
Well, here's the problem. And here's the problem that I have with Robb Elementary. Well, it's not with Robb Elementary, but with the media.
Right.
Okay, because I consider us to be media.
Sure. Right. Yeah,
Whether
yeah.
whether we're professional
Right.
journalists or not, we're
Right.
still media.
No, 100%.
you know?
Yeah, I get it.
But I'm the kind of guy to where I want to get it right.
Yeah.
And the media got this whole damn thing wrong.
Exactly.
Because they said
100%.
that
They want to be
co-
first.
right, and they said the cops had an altercation with this guy outside the school prior to him going in.
They even had
which turned
details
out-
like, he dropped a box of mags.
which turned
Right.
out to be all false.
None of that
okay?
happened.
Right.
Hence, the creation of fake news. That's where fake news comes from. Now, years ago when we were all kids, before media could put anything on TV or air it, either radio or TV, they had to have 3 verifiable sources.
Yep.
What the hell happened to that?
Well, I think Bush changed that, or actually, I think Dick Cheney changed that.
I don't know who changed
Yeah,
it, but
yeah.
now, you know, they don't have to have 3 verifiable sources.
No,
They
yep.
talk to one guy,
Whoever they want
a
to.
nervous dude who's
Right.
who's just been through a firefight or
right,
something.
yep.
You're not going to get accurate information from
No,
that
no
dude.
way.
Right.
So
But we're
the
still
information-
learning details.
Yeah,
and
so
this
the
is 4
information
days
that
after.
came out, when a tragedy like that happens,
Yeah.
and you try to interview right off the bat,
Right.
you may be interviewing on bad information, is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah.
But it's still, to me, I think it's best to cover it while the topic is still hot. You can always come back after a while when
Yeah.
it's not, but it's not going to have the same impact on the community as it would have had while things were still
You don't
fresh.
have all that emotion boiling over and the need to hear something and who
Yeah,
to
and
blame
like
is a
in this
big part of
particular
it.
case,
Yeah.
I think that most communities should be willing at this point to get on a show like ours
Right.
and say, hey, this is what we're doing to try to protect our children.
Sure.
And these are the plans that we have in place to prevent something like this from happening. And if it happens, to mitigate death, you know, and mitigate the possibility of a whole bunch of injuries and such.
Some
Right.
real solutions instead
yeah,
of
so
political
now's-
bullshit.
Yeah, so now's the time to have those conversations while that topic is still hot. Because, like, take, for instance, our withdrawal from Afghanistan, which was a big, big deal,
Right.
you know? And if you started to talk about that now, would even be people who'd be like, we withdrew out of Afghanistan, they wouldn't even know,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So the time to talk about it was when it happened,
right then.
you know? Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. I don't know.
Now, stories of like heroes and stuff like that, if you get a guy that, you know, thwarted a bank robbery, we had a guy on the show that thwarted a bank robbery, and he did real good. And we talked to him maybe, God, it was several months after it happened,
Yeah.
you know, and it was
Right.
still an effective show, but it didn't have the impact, you know, the community impact that something like Robb Elementary
Right.
has.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, as long as you can
It's-
get good information and you know what you're putting out there is legit,
Yeah.
then yeah, talk about it right off the bat, man.
Yeah.
You know, day of.
Like I said, I just didn't want
You
to.
know?
I didn't want people to think that I was doing it to like catch views. You know what I'm saying? Like use
Yeah.
these dead kids as you know as a way to get like
Right.
likes and
And
you know and
more
stuff
than,
like
yeah,
that.
more,
you
and
know
more,
what I mean?
Yeah, and more than likely,
You know?
there'll be somebody out there
Right.
who's going to say,
right.
"Hey,
Yeah. Right.
you know." But
yeah.
but you get, and also, you know, I think that the community will be able to tell what your intentions are by the way you hold your conversation and the way that you direct your show. I mean, if you direct it towards sensationalism and bullshit, They're going to go, hey, he's a muckraking sensationalist, But if you direct it toward, this is the information I think that our community needs to have in order for our parents to feel better, in order for our kids to feel better.
Real solutions.
In order for other community leaders to be involved and understand, well, then you're providing a service. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a real service, a service that matters. It's not being sensational or just trying to get views.
Yeah.
We can get views off anything. I mean, I can just have Mark go pick up a prostitute, and bring her, seriously.
Right, yeah.
And bring her in here. And we'll get views off stuff like that. And there's been a lot of stuff that I thought we would get big views off of that I've just said, nah, I don't think I want to do that.
Yeah.
We're not that type of show, or it's not time for that right now, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
You just got to think it through and then just go from the heart and know that as long as you're doing the right thing, your community will respond to it the right way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're always going to have a couple of guys out there, they're going, you're just doing it to get views.
Right.
It's like, well, thanks for watching. That's
thanks for the views.
Yeah.
I've seen him do it. They'll comment some kind of crass insult on a comment,
Right.
And here comes thanks for watching.
That's it. I appreciate you watching.
Stay
tuned next week. We're going to have this and that on.
Yeah, you can't get into it with these dudes because that's exactly what they want.
Yeah,
so,
they want to get a rise out of you, and
Yeah, luckily I haven't tried. Luckily I haven't encountered that. Whatever.
Oh, it's coming.
Right. I'm sure it is.
Just like I know sooner or later I'm going to say the wrong thing and I'm going to piss off a whole bunch of people.
Right.
But it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And the best thing that I can try to do is A, be mindful of it, and then B, if it does happen, just I'm not going to be the guy who's going, well, I didn't mean it, or I didn't say it, or I meant it in this context. I'm going to be up front. I'm going to say, look, I said this because that's what I felt.
Right.
And if you guys don't like it, I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right.
But I'm not going to back down and be one of those sheep that doesn't get my point across because I'm talking about just a serious topic that needs to be discussed. Or I said something that needed to be said even though it's not pretty.
Yeah.
That's not me, man. Sorry.
Well, see, and that right there to me, whatever, tells me that you're solid.
Yeah.
That you're not soft. You know what I'm saying? You don't think one way, you know what I mean, and then say another.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just, man, that's what I considered solid. And when I say stay solid, that's what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, dude, just, say what you want to say, and if and apologize that it hurt their feelings. You know what I mean? Don't apologize for what you said.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, because you stand by what you said.
Yeah.
But I apologize that it hurt your feelings. I'm sorry that it hurt your feelings.
Well, you can disagree and be respectful.
Sure, right.
I think a lot of people have lost that.
Yeah, exactly, man.
I love healthy debate.
Yeah, me too.
I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. It's the way to go.
When was the last time you had a healthy debate?
I had a healthy debate just yesterday.
Well, that's balderdash.
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 I've been dying to use that word.
Poppycock.
Oh, that's even better.
That's a great word.
My vocabulary is getting more and more diverse over here. That's hilarious, man.
But yeah, man. So don't be afraid to talk about anything on your show. It's your show. Direct it the way you want to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. That's just like a day after Robb or whatever. A couple of friends of mine or whatever was like, man, you need to talk about that on your show and all that stuff. I'm like, dude, like the bodies aren't even cold yet, man. You know what I mean? I don't want to seem like it's, this, that,
And all the major news is just 24/7, and we're going to interview the guy who knows the guy who walks the dog for the guy. And oh my God, isn't it terrible? Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the important part, even though you're getting bombarded by the media, most people have picked up now that they're full of shit.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And they are doing it for views, and they are doing it for eye time.
You're 100%
And
correct.
I think that they'd go back to shows like Rogan and shows like us,
right,
to get some real information.
There's a reason Rogan's got like 95 million subscribers.
Sure, right,
and viewers.
Yeah.
But like you're right though. I want to talk about it, and I want to keep talking about it, whatever, because I don't want people to forget. What had happened. You know what I mean? Because there's so much. Because that's another thing about the media. is that they shoot it, they're like, oh yeah, this is going to be good, and then the next day or the next hour they're on to something else.
The next big thing.
It's just, you know what I mean? And
we're out of baby formula.
Right, yeah, exactly, right? And I guess COVID's not a thing anymore, right?
Right.
No.
So, you know what I mean? So it's just stuff like that, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't really, to be honest, I don't really watch the news.
But the thing is, you know, like COVID will come back around once everything dies off a little bit and there's not a sensational story to follow.
Right.
They ought to just label all the major stories. We're all going to die, and this is why. We're all going to die, and this is why. We're all going to die.
Well, personally, I think, like, on the media side, if you start telling these broadcasters, you say, look, the next time you put out false information, it's going to cost you.
Yeah, dude.
Not a little either.
Yeah.
It's going to cost you.
That's what I'm saying.
You know? And the next time an anchor lies about something, they know they're lying about it, they're going to have to face charges.
I agree with that.
And everybody's going to go, well, wait a minute, you know, freedom of speech and blah, 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 blah. Well, and I agree. Freedom of the press and freedom of speech is a big, big deal. It is a big deal. But when you start bullshitting people on a large scale, because they have a lot of, I mean, their subscribers is crazy, man. They have 20 million people watching them, you know?
This isn't
when you start bullshitting people and lying to people and directing them to do something they wouldn't normally do under regular circumstances, you've committed an effing crime.
Yeah, this the freedom of speech or whatever. This isn't what the forefathers intended by freedom of speech.
Right.
What they're doing.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, it's just it's ridiculous, man. And yeah, you're right. They need to be held accountable.
But they don't even come back with a disclaimer or any kind of retraction or anything anymore because it's like you said, it's 30 minutes later and we're all on to this and we're all going to die because of this, you know?
Well, it's a perfect example is that, like, I'm into sports, really big into sports, basketball especially. So I'm watching the game and I'm watching the highlights and stuff, you know, whatever, Bleacher Report or, you know, TNT or ESPN or whatever and stuff. And they're showing these altercations that these players are getting into.
Oh, yeah.
And they're getting gritty, man. They're pushing each other and stuff like
that
and everything, you know, and they're like, oh, man, so-and-so, whatever, told so-and-so this. I'm like, the media has to have some form of responsibility, man, because, you know, kids from 5 to my age are watching this. Now, I know better.
And they think it's cool.
And they think it's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've seen it personally on these AAU tournaments that I go to with my daughter and my son. You know, there's one incident that I'm watching this game, and they're probably maybe 10 or 11 years old. This one kid's 10 or 11 years old. This kid, he pops up off the he's on the bench. He pops up off the bench, takes his jersey off, and starts running towards the other bench to, like, fight somebody or something like that or whatever. And then the coach picks him up and then, you know, brings him back to the bench or whatever. Where do you think they learned that from? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the media or the parents or, you know, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. So they're very vulnerable, you know, in the youth, and you have to have some form of accountability.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's we've like you're saying, we've lost that along the way.
Yeah, it all points back to the degradation of society, man.
Yeah.
I mean, our whole social interaction has started to degrade.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kids, it's adults, it's everybody.
It's a cultural problem.
You know, it really is, and it's something we need to address. And I do believe that shows like this and discussions like this address it.
Yeah.
You know, put it out in the forefront.
Nah, yeah, man.
So,
that's what I try to do anyway. Yeah. You know, and I realize that I have a responsibility. You have a responsibility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, with what we put out.
It's a big one too.
I try not to, you know, say something or whatever, or, you know, say something on my podcast that a you know, 10-year-old or something like that might watch, whatever, you know, or something like that. You know what I mean? I really,
you got to protect your reputation, and we've talked about that too. In the second that we ambush somebody, right, like that CRT guy, you know, we got him on the show, and then if we just bombard him,
and just argued every point with him, what guest would want to come on after that?
That would ruin your reputation. Don't go on that show, man. They'll hammer you. You know, it's just an ambush.
Right. Yeah. And that's sad though, man. That's sad. He didn't even give y'all a chance, man.
He didn't even roll the window down and give us a finger or anything, man. something.
Nothing, man.
A little communication would go a long way.
He was trying to get out of here as fast as possible, man. It's like, hey, I better not stay out here.
That's a shame because it would have been a great show.
Yeah, it would have been a great show, and it made me feel bad for about a minute and a half. Other than that, I was just extremely excited about it.
I was pissed off for a week, man.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you still seem like you're heated a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And that $35 you had to spend, come on.
Well, I
dug it.
I got gas and I got
story.
tolls and I got things I didn't do all day because I came out here and I looked at that guy for a week or two and watched all his interviews, which were all softball interviews.
Sure,
you know?
right, of course.
So what do you think about this? His answer, okay, well, that's the next question. You know, there's no pushback or feedback.
So he doesn't really want to debate.
No,
what it is.
Well, obviously not.
He's like, hey, look, this is the questions that I want you to ask.
I think he was afraid that, you know.
You were gonna.
And the other thing is, you know, a lot of those guys that are proponents of critical race theory, they're Democrats as well.
Right.
And so if you take a look at 90% of the people we've had on the show have been Republican.
For sure.
You know, so I'm sure he thought he was going to get that Republican opposition.
Yeah.
But I mean, me and Mark even discussed it before that. Say, we're not going to do that to him. We're just going to listen, hear him out, and then if he misses something or we have a genuine question about why you feel that way.
My thing was going to be like, what do you say to those people who say that this part of that is doing this?
Right.
You know,
and that's
give his answer.
And that's a perfect way to put it too, because I had a person on or whatever that he's a pastor, you know, and I'm telling you know, and I mean we can get into religion whatever all day, you know, that's another podcast or whatever, but I feel a certain way, you know, whatever, but I didn't make it to where. And we kind of debated a little bit, but I didn't make it to where it was me that believed that. I put it just like you did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, what do you say to people that believe this, you know, or whatever, or believe this way or something?
And see, when you do that, you're benefiting your viewer because you're putting it off on them.
Right.
And the viewer's thinking to themselves, wait a minute, man, this guy's talking for me. That's cool.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah, that's,
and you're treating your guests with respect and saying, well, justify your position on this, you know, and let me hear it. So.
Yeah. It seemed to me like the dude was just insecure, man, because the pastor or whatever, he's, you know, he had God before everything, you know what I mean, and he lives that way, and you know, and all that stuff, and you know, and he had no problem coming on my show to debate about it.
Yeah,
he had no, you know, and and he easily could have been like, you know, now, you know, you're gonna, you know, or was afraid that I was gonna like ask him something that, you know, he had no answer for.
He just felt comfortable with his position, you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
so
you know.
Good.
Yeah, he was secure in what he was and what he believes in and stuff like that. And if you're not, then you know you don't. You know, then that happens with the guy. You know?
Well, going back to the 90% Republicans on the show, you know, we were heavy into the local elections especially. And I mentioned to Hank and said, man, we need to get the opposition view.
For sure, yeah.
And, man, you can't find a Democrat out here.
Nah, yeah, you have to go into the city, man.
Yeah, that's it.
So, but we tried.
You got to go to Austin or somewhere like that.
I wanted to have two candidates for the same position sitting right here.
Yeah.
And have a debate.
Yeah.
Like the forum in a very small scale.
Sure, right, yeah.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, never know.
Yeah. And that's what me and you were talking about. They'll go on, they'll debate all like crazy, you know, online. You know what I mean? It'll go on.
Yeah.
You know,
but you get them face to face, they get scared.
You get them face to face.
Yeah.
You know, I guarantee you they'll come to some form of, you know, an agreement or agree to disagree or whatever. It won't go on.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
No name calling, that's for sure.
Right.
Well, Chris, again, man, appreciate you having you out. And it's been good, and let's keep doing it.
Nah, man, yeah, for sure, man. I'd love to keep coming out here, man. I enjoyed it. I really appreciate it, man. Both of you, Hank, Mark, y'all are both solid dudes, man.
Cool. Thank you, man.
Like I said, man, I really apologize. I should have invited you on the show as well, man.
That's no big deal. This is Hank's think tank, not Mark's think tank.
Yeah, now we could have...
Don't listen to him. There's always brains behind the whole deal, and trust me, man, it ain't in this head. So,
right on, man. Well, yeah, next time, whatever. We'll tell you know. I'd love to be back on, man.
Yeah,
I think,
sounds good.
I think this was.
And we can do
really
this.
Cool.
Yeah, we can do it.
For sure. Yeah, we'll talk about because that's my thing. I can't. You know, it's like you said. We can talk about you know, some people want to talk about it all the time, and I got a group message that you know, we go back and forth or whatever talking about stuff. I'm like, hey man, why don't you come on the podcast? We'll get everything going, you know, like, and then just crickets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, if you guys or whatever, y'all have like a dead day or something, or be like, hey, we need to talk about this or whatever, let's have Chris on or something like that, whatever. Or we need somebody, you know,
that'd be great.
Whatever.
Yeah,
I don't mind
sounds
coming
good.
on, man, for
Cool.
sure. Cool.
So this is my card. It's got my cell phone on there. You can have your people call my people.
Oh, thank you very much.
You got people? I don't have
Hey,
people.
dude.
Yeah, oh, I got a dog.
I got a dog, yeah. And was it a Challenger, 2013?
2013
Yeah.
Dodge Challenger Redline Package 5.7 Hemi.
He likes that car, man.
Okay. Right on. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, there you have it. So I think we kind of covered everything, and if we missed something, make sure and let me know. So go to YouTube and look it up. And it's all one word, Small Circle Society.
Yeah.
And check it out, and check out all his videos. And he's done a good job. And
Appreciate
I think
it.
he's moving forward. And so if you have any questions, Chris Zepeda, I'm sure you can get in touch. What's your email address, man?
It is a Small Circle Society. Like you know, small circle society was taken. Everything that you know you try to get on there, it's always taken. You know what I mean? So Small Circle Society, and then and then at gmail.com.
Cool.
Yeah,
Small Circle Society at gmail.com. Drop him an email.
Yeah.
And if you want to be on a show, I'm sure he'll consider it anyway.
Yeah, 100%.
For Mark Hogan, I'm Hank Vatt. This is Hank's Think Tank, and this is show number 90, and we're out.